So, as you know, I was down back in the Bay Area for the Niners game. Spoke with someone, just came up in conversation. Bay Area source told me that there is something being floated around. So after that 2025 season for the A's, nobody knows what's going to happen. Are you ready for this, Chris? Are you ready for this, Nate? Are you ready for this? To all of our Sactowners, our Sactown sports listeners, however you may be listening. Don't forget you listen on TuneIn if you are not able to get to an AM situation. Can't forget that one. YouTube, Sactown Sports.
There's an app. We got Sactown Sports app.
Sactown Sports app. A lot of ways to listen because you're going to want to hear this. That person told me that there is an idea being floated around that between 2025 and 2028, the A's would not exist as a franchise.
I'm sorry?
So
like
basically, so between 2025 and 2028, Major League Baseball would run with 29 teams. And when 2028 comes around, they would basically do an expansion draft. That idea is also being floated
It's almost
around.
Disbanding the A's as a franchise
for 3 years
altogether.
For 3 years. Those players would be able to sign with other teams. I don't know the minor league. If you're worth anything in the minor league, somebody comes and finds you. If not, thank you for your service. And then we refresh everything in 2028 in Vegas. If they can't figure something out.
Wow. I mean, that's just not something that I've ever considered even being a possibility, to just completely say bye-bye franchise and then just, oh yeah, actually here they're springing up like the Phoenix
right
in Vegas. I mean, that feels like an absolute last resort, break in case of emergency. There's nobody who will take us. This is our only option.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way I could see that happening, because that feels like, I mean, that just feels like it
would save them money, I would imagine. Don't have to deal with
you wouldn't have to pay anything, I guess. Yeah. But that just feels so extreme. And the crazy thing is, the craziest of it all is it doesn't feel like that's 100% out of the realm of possibility when you're talking about what these guys have been talking about with this move in general. I mean, I'm honestly shocked. Like hearing it seems like something that shouldn't. I mean, that's almost an admission of being wrong completely from the start, that you never had a plan in the first place, and to just completely disband an entire organization it'd be massive. Like, you can't just, that's jobs. That's, whether it be ushers or I know the ushers
moving anyway.
I guess. Right. I guess. Yeah.
It's
oh my God.
It's time.
That feels just so extreme.
Time heals all wounds.
Yeah.
So maybe it's, hey, we kind of fall back for 3 years. People forget how much they hate us. People forget how much we botched this.
Would that be a rebrand when they relaunch?
And then they would come back as the Vegas A's, I would imagine.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, that's crazy. And again, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. No. I definitely put it in the lower percentile, but I mean, yeah, I could definitely see how that would be their last ditch effort at trying to maybe save this thing from a public perception, is, hey, maybe if we just have this thing go away, instead of, oh, are the A's going to be here for a year? Are they going to stay in Salt Lake
it's
City?
Messy, right? That's
it's already messy, yeah.
Get rid of the mess. We're just not going to play.
Man, that's crazy. And then not to mention the whole operating with 29 teams thing, what that would do to baseball. I mean,
there's an asterisk. I mean, they weren't going to win anything.
Ugh. I mean, at that point, too, if you're Rob Manfred, you've got to get John Fisher out. If John Fisher forces you to do something like that, you can't have that guy stick around. If you say, dude, you literally made me get rid of our one of 30 franchises, you can't stick around because of your mismanagement of this. Right. No. You got to get to step in, brother.
Because it would affect, I mean, I would imagine it would affect TV deals in some fashion because of other teams that them. especially in
It's
the
just a
AL West. The
logistical
AL
nightmare.
West. Yeah, the AL West.
You'd
they
have to
would
figure out new
less
scheduling,
Mhm.
everything, all of it.
Who do you play instead of? Because ALS plays them a lot.
And the Players Association's not going to be too thrilled with, I don't even know how many more jobs or how many less jobs that would be for their players as well. That's crazy, man. That's insane. And I think it's just, even if it's, your source is wrong on it or whatever, I think the fact that that's even remotely a possibility, I think, is just incredibly telling of where this situation is at and just how bad this thing has gotten and how out of control. And this is completely Major League Baseball's fault. The fact that we're even allowed to speculate about that being a remote possibility it's just a complete failure all the way around. And baseball should be ashamed, and definitely the A's should be ashamed. But at this point, there's a lot of things they should be ashamed about. So I don't know, man. If that happens, there's got to be hell to pay. There has to be.
So I'm looking here, and I know a couple teams have lost minor league teams, but just the classic. And I know there's high A, low A, but just to keep it as simple as possible, there are essentially 30 players on each level. So 30, 60, and then you have 90. So call it about 150, around 150 players. Right. In each organization. So
and is that the whole organization that would go down, or is it just the A's parent, like the top club? Because, just because the A's aren't around, does that mean that
the minors just play?
Right.
And then you play and you where you get called up to?
I don't know. Does it become the G League Ignite almost?
Yeah, do you just get signed to another team if you're balling out?
Again, it sounds like a logistical nightmare. And if they do get to that point, I'm telling you, there's no way you can have that guy stick around, because it's just creating that would create so many headaches. And at this point, they would have to get it all figured out in a year. It's crazy. That's insane. It does sound like something that would be a movie in the worst way possible.
You have Amid Rock on the Sac chat saying this is like the movie Major League. It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And that is what is being floated around. It hasn't really come out too much, but that is an idea. Nothing is off the table, like you just said, Chris. And this isn't off the table to just run with 29 teams. And when the stadium is done, we do some version of a redraft. Yeah. I don't even know how that works with baseball because of all the prospects.
Right.
Hey, well, I'm just going to give you this guy or that
A's
guy.
Are full of prospects anyway.
Right.
Even their big club.
Exactly. So yeah, when I heard that one, I thought, I guess that's possible.
That's where they're at. And it's just, it's crazy, man. And I don't know how, I just don't know how they make this situation better. And how about A's fans too, who then would they're already balancing of, should I even remotely consider, even if the team moves to Sacramento, then you're just saying, no, not only you thought that this person would just exist, or this thing would just exist and you could ignore it. No, we're actually just going to kill it. We're just going to completely, not only can you not, hey, maybe you liked one or two guys on this A's. Oh, you're curious about Tyler Soderstrom and his development throughout, even though you're not an A's fan or supporter, you grew in a affiliation with him and you want to see how it's no. It's kaput. It's completely. You're not going to see any of it. They're dead, and you can see them in 3 years when they come back as a living nightmare for you.
Yeah, I mean,
don't put them through that, man. They've been through enough.
It's not. Yeah, nobody deserves this. No fan base deserves this, especially not Oakland A's fans who've had to deal with losing the Raiders, the Warriors, now the A's, and clearly John Fisher just does not care. So yeah, maybe they'll run with 29, and we'll see in 2028. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we talked about Andrew Wiggins. Sham says that the Warriors would even take calls on Klay Thompson. Ooh. 1, are you believing it? 2, fine. You don't want Andrew Wiggins?